Okay, welcome back, everybody, to a somewhat slightly overdue Slap Happy Chaps podcast.
Yeah.
I am SchwarzTKD.
I'm LegendbyDesign.
And we are coming to talk about what we are expecting / hoping and just general speculations on Marvel's The Defenders, which hits this coming Friday. We've done, as you know from our playlist, we've done episodes on pretty much every one of the Marvel shows on Netflix, I think, except Daredevil.
Except Daredevil and Jessica Jones. We've talked about Jessica Jones.
Yeah, we've talked Jessica Jones almost as much as any others.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because
that's just it's my favorite thing.
Likewise, still my favorite. I think out of the 5 seasons for the 4 shows, Jones is my favorite story. I like Luke Cage because it felt the most, as I've said before, it felt the most like a comic book origin story.
Yeah, Luke Cage was definitely fun to watch.
It was fantastic, absolutely. Jones was just overall stronger written. And
I think you can't. I'm not sure you can call it Jones anymore. I think because the main actor for Iron Fist, his last name is Jones.
Okay, I was just going to say that Ritter was phenomenal in it.
Yeah, Christopher. Yeah, certainly.
She kicked ass.
Certainly, definitely.
And speaking of kicking ass, let's just use that to jump right into the Defenders. So From the trailers we've seen, there's going to be plenty of fights. There's going to be plenty of snark and humor. Not all the jokes in the trailers have made me laugh, but obviously we're seeing a lot of it out of context.
Yeah.
I'm just generally excited to see what Marvel does with it's basically. I mean, obviously from the name, it's an Avengers movie stretched out over a season.
Yeah, it's about 8 episodes.
I was going to say, it's not a full 13. It's basically, it's a miniseries. They from the first time they announced it, they said it was going to be a mini-series more than a series.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the things I'm really hoping to see, I really want to see the different characters fighting and be able to see how they fight differently. Like one of my critiques about Iron Fist was that a lot of the fights took place in dark areas, or the camera was cutting a lot, so it was really hard to follow the action, which was a bummer because that was the most martial arts themed of the shows. Whereas you look at Daredevil, and both Season 1 and Season 2 had those great fights where the camera did not cut away, and it just followed Charlie Cox through the scene. The hallway in the first season, and the whole apartment stairway fight in the second season.
Sure.
Those are my favorite goddamn scenes because you don't see that kind of camera work often.
That's very true.
I'm not saying we need that in the Defenders. I just want to see, in the trailers, when we see them fighting in the hallway, you can see it a little bit where you're seeing them fight differently. I just want to make sure, I hope that we can have scenes where the camera just holds still on a shot where you can see everybody. Maybe they're moving in and out of frame. Maybe you see an enemy mook just fly into frame, and Luke Cage calmly walks in because he threw the dude.
Right.
I just want to see the differences.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I think the only ones who are really equipped to point out any of them are Daredevil and Iron Fist, seeing as how they've been trained in such things. And Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, by nature, are kind of just brawlers.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They throw hands and see what happens.
Right. And I don't even necessarily need to see the characters talking about that.
Yeah.
We're gonna, we know in one of the trailers that they are discussing their different abilities and what they bring to the table in that scene in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't even need to see the characters talking about this. I just want to see, as an audience member, want to be able to see that.
Yeah.
It would also be cool to see them approach the mystery differently. From the trailers, it looks like Sigourney Weaver is not part of the Hand, is not part of any established thing. There were some scenes where she's talking to Madame Gao, and scenes where she's talking to Elektra, when she's given her whole villain speech in the trailers that they use as a monologue.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's going to be on a completely different side than what they've been building up, with the Hand and Elektra being revived, brought back to death.
Being Black Sky and whatnot.
Right. So that's what I'm really curious to see is I want to see how this ties together. It looks like Stick is not going to be an antagonist.
No. basically bred Matt Murdock for this exact reason, to be able to fight this exact fight.
Right.
So I don't see why he would be an antagonist, per se.
And his faction of the Hand is more on the side of wanting to stop whatever the fuck Black Sky actually is, but possibly also Sigourney Weaver, because we don't know if she's part of the Hand or not. I want to say she's not.
Yeah, I don't think she's a part of the Hand based on what I've seen for the trailers. I think they've partnered with the Hand, but I think it's tenuous at best, and it's more tentative than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, those are like my top 3 things I really want to see. I want to see clearly different choreography for the characters.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be some similarity, especially like you said with Daredevil and Iron Fist, because they're both more martial artists versus brawlers.
Sure.
But you can still get a lot of differences there. We saw, if you look at the Daredevil scenes versus the Iron Fist scenes, you do see some differences just offhand.
Right.
I want to see the different characters approaching even the investigation in different ways. You know, you've got Jones, who's an actual investigator. You've got Danny's resources. You've got, Daredevil's law training. And you've got Luke Cage, who can just walk into a room and just be like, just force people to tell him shit.
And he is a big, intimidating man.
Yeah, and then I get to meet him in November, actually, when I go to Rhode Island Comic Con.
Oh, yeah.
I get to meet Michael
Coulter.
Coulter, thank you. I was going to mess up the pronunciation. I can't wait. He just looks like such a fun dude to meet. Yeah. And then the last thing I want to see is I want to see some solid chemistry.
Yeah.
We definitely had that in Jessica Jones with her scenes with Luke Cage.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they all play together. We talked about it in our Iron Fist episode. I wasn't super impressed with Finn Jones versus some of the other characters that we saw, even just on his show.
Sure.
And I think that he's going to do a lot better. He's going to impress me more in an ensemble cast.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of these. That's where a lot of these Marvel properties actually flourishes with an ensemble cast, because they each bring something unique to the mixture here.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not. It's not just one thing or another.
Mm-hmm.
Although again, going back, like Jessica Jones, that story was great. Daredevil, we got a sprinkling of his origin throughout the first season, and then you're just like, all right, he's already established, here we go. And Luke Cage, that was just fun to watch, really.
Yeah, and we got his backstory in his season in flashbacks.
Yeah, more or less. Mr. Carl Lucas.
I'm curious too. Are they going to tie up all the loose ends? Like, we know from the trailers that they're gonna give us an explanation for what happened with Luke being extradited to, what was it, Georgia?
Yeah. I think it was, Georgia.
We've seen clips that Foggy is going to be in it, Karen's going to be in it, Punisher's obviously going to be in it because they have a whole trailer for him. But also, you don't waste a name like what's the actor's name?
John Bernthal.
Thank you. I get to meet him too.
Yeah, he's at Rhode Island Comic Con, I believe.
Oh, I can't wait for Rhode Island.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good time, man.
It's gonna be awesome. It's like a three-day con, which I've never experienced before. Anyway,
I just did in Tennessee. That was fun.
Yeah. So you don't just take someone like him on for one season and not use him for a project like this. I guarantee he's gonna have at least a cameo.
Well, he's getting a series of his own. Right,
and this is probably gonna set more of the stage for that, I bet.
That might. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
What are some of the other loose ends? So from Daredevil, we know that Karen and Foggy are loose ends story-wise. Punisher's a loose end, but he's going to get his own show.
I don't know if Karen or Foggy are loose ends. They're just going their own ways.
Well, like to the point that we don't know where things are going to go for the next season of Daredevil. So is it something that they're going to wrap up here, or is it something they're going to leave alone?
I think they'll touch on what their role is in Matt Murdock's life, but I don't think. Based on the trailers, I don't think we're going to see too much of them. I think they're just going to be left alone, and they'll have credits in the Punishers. Yeah, I mean, in the Defenders, forgive me. And, pardon me. And they're going to leave it well enough alone for Daredevil Season 3.
Yeah.
If that happens.
That makes sense.
I haven't seen any.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it has.
Did you hear the big news that Disney is pulling out of their Netflix partnership.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, which makes sense because if Warner Brothers and DC are setting up their own streaming service, Marvel, to stay current, should do the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what'll be interesting is, does Disney/Marvel finish these 4 shows, and 5 shows if you count Punisher, and maybe do like a Defenders round 2 and then end there? Because these are Netflix shows, they're Netflix original programming. They can't just move them and keep the season going.
Right. Yeah.
Just like how Marvel can't make a Fantastic Four movie because Fox still has the rights to it.
Right.
Yeah. So they can't just pull these characters in to their new streaming service.
Yeah, certainly not.
They might start other shows, or they might just keep these projects going indefinitely, or whatever the original plan was. So that'll be interesting anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
Keeping it just on the Defenders. Other things that haven't been resolved yet. Obviously, the Hand and what happened at Kunlun. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, what happened at Kunlun at the end of Iron Fist will probably be done in Iron Fist Season 2, I bet. Rather than the Defenders.
What do you mean?
Like with the massacre at Kunlun and...
I thought the way just closed. I didn't see that.
No, I believe the way was still open, but because he wasn't there to defend it, remember they showed up and there was just bodies everywhere?
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, okay. I could be wrong. Internet?
Yeah, let's pull it up, dude. You have access.
All right, we have the internet.
Let's be a smidge professional, I guess.
All right, I was going to ask the internet to tell us who was right.
Yeah. I don't want to give them that satisfaction. I'd rather be wrong and then see. I'd rather make a guess, see something that alters my perspective, and be wrong, as opposed to someone just telling me.
So anyway, for Iron Fist stuff, again, the Hand are going to be, if not the main villain, they're going to be a big part of this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. No, they're definitely going to be a huge part of it. They're going to be playing on their own sides, I think.
Yeah. We're
Fist,
scrolling to it now.
Yeah, we're scrolling through Wikipedia.
Yeah. Okay, so we're both right.
Closed and surrounded by bodies of slain Hand assassins.
Okay, so I thought that it was bodies of Kunlun residents that were dead.
Yeah.
That's right, because Danny was surprised that the way was closed early.
Yeah.
He thought it was still going to be open.
Right.
And so someone defended Kunlun in his absence and just murdered a bunch of the Hand.
Yeah.
So that, whatever that is probably still going to happen in Season 2 of Iron Fist.
I'm willing to bet it was Davos.
Davos wasn't there, though. Unless he killed all of those people and then came to find Danny.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing that could happen.
I don't think Davos is going to show up in Defenders. They're probably going to save him for Season 2 of Iron Fist.
I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
Season 2 get announced?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was...
Right. Sorry, I've been so wrapped up in anime the last week.
It's all right.
Of all of...
I'm probably going to finally...
because... second season was ordered in July 2017.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you're right.
They're probably going to start production later this year or early next year.
I would say so.
I'm probably going to get Crunchyroll soon and finally get caught up on my animes. Yeah. I'll watch My Hero Academia because I've seen enough clips on YouTube to be interested.
Either Crunchyroll or Funimation.
Yeah.
Stream service. I've just been so caught up in Log Horizon. I just fucking binged the first season plus in about 3 days.
Nice.
And I just I just got so sucked into it.
The new season of Voltron landed last weekend.
Yeah.
My God, I couldn't turn it off.
Yeah, one of the.
Although it was only 7 episodes, so I was like, when it was done, I tweeted like at Netflix. So where's the rest of the new Voltron season?
No. Yeah.
It literally ended on a flashback backstory episode.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Now, everything else was great, but that left a lame taste in my mouth.
Well, at least as long as it told a good story,
It did. And the pacing was great in those other episodes, and the flashback episode was interesting, although it did poke some pretty huge holes in the earlier season plotline. But, separate podcast.
Yeah.
Talking Defenders.
Fuck that.
Still though, watch Voltron on Netflix. It's phenomenal. I love it.
Yeah, one of the Fat Dog Studios guys. Shout out to Fat Dog Studios.
Who you're working with?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's public information now. I'm in the Log Horizon Abridged as Sojiro Seta. So I appear in episode 4, and I don't know. And having watched the entire first season, I kind of got an idea of how much I might show up.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to working with these guys. I got to know them down in Tennessee when I was at a KaiCon this past weekend, and it was just a great experience. I had a great time. I mean, the best time of it was just getting to know those guys. No, the con was fine. The con was a con, and I got a fidget spinner.
Oh, of course you did.
Well, I got a Captain America fidget spinner.
Oh, hell yeah! Let me see that.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. For those of you who can't see this, and no one can because we're not filming it, I got a metal. I got a metal Captain America fidget spinner.
It's hefty. It's easily a pound or so.
It's a few ounces for sure.
Yeah.
But I just
probably not a full pound.
Yeah, I just kind of a full pound fucking fidget spinner. That'd be pretty impressive. But I had a good time with those guys, and they were really fun to talk to and get to know. So.
I want to get one of the fidget cubes because you can play with those a lot more subtly than a fidget spinner. Yeah, and you can do different things with them, which is great for my restless hands. For those of you who don't know me, which is pretty much all of you, I'm the guy who just when he's sitting there is constantly poking at things, be it my phone or just random things where I'm tapping my fingers. Drives people nuts at work, so it'd be a great little thing for me to have. Yeah, it's just something that it kept me sane on the plane ride back. Mm-hmm. But it was fun getting to know those guys, and I look forward to getting to know them further and working with them. Yeah. Go see their Log Horizon Abridged. I'll put a link to that. It's really funny. Yeah. But anyway, the reason I mentioned Bad Dog Studio is because one of them did a reaction thing on Riff.tv, which is a service where you can it's like Twitch for watching TV. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah. So, I could load up, say, Netflix or something. Yeah, Netflix or Verve, Crunchyroll, whatever. Hulu, yeah. I don't know exactly what's because some of them probably wouldn't cooperate with it. Yeah. I mean, I haven't done a whole lot of research into it, but I know that's what he did. The guy's name is Richie Roberts. He goes by Richie Roberts or Like Zoinks Gaming. Because I know that when I'm broadcasting the gameplay on Twitch, sometimes it'll be a scene where it's broadcasting blocked for this scene, like the scene in Arkham Knight where it turns out that Barbara's been alive the whole time. Right. Yeah. Or the reveal of who Red Hood actually is. Right. Yeah. Which, if you know anything about the Bat family, you figured that out in 5 minutes. Well, I don't know. Maybe. Well, during the hallucinations of Jason, you definitely figured out that. Well, you figured it out. I just didn't. I was just along for the ride. Fair enough. For those of us normal people who are just playing games. Not insufferable when it comes to figuring out. Just playing games for the sake of playing games and choosing whether or not to enjoy it based on the overall experience. Dick. So you were saying your buddy a fat dog. So Richie. His name's Richie Roberts. He watches, does stuff like that, streams himself reacting to TV shows on YouTube, on Riff.tv. Yep. So he already did a Riff.tv stream of him watching the entire third season of Voltron. Nice. On Netflix. So that was something. That was pretty fun. I think he announced that I don't know if he announced that he was going to do it, but he definitely said he was going to do it. So he did it. It's a great show. Yeah. I haven't watched it, not for a lack of they trying, but just because of the end of season 2, they did some great stuff resolving that cliffhanger. Yeah. Which also tied into a very great callback to the original Voltrons. That's all I'm going to say because I definitely want to encourage people to watch it, and I don't want to give anything away. Also, it's just beautifully animated. It is solid as fuck. It is. Yeah. It looks great. The Voltron lions look kind of CG'd, but only at times and never feels out of place, like when other shows mix cell and CD animation. Cell and CG, right? Yeah. Did I say CD? I did. CD. I did say CD. Either way. You know what I meant. And just when they pull out all the stops and really commit to the action, the animation's flawless. The voice actors will really sell it. I do not know how voice actors manage to do those yells, whether it's a yell of pain or anguish or whatever. Like when the I'm attacking you with my special attack. I don't know how they do it.
Well, they just yell.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Well, I mean, obviously, but like I can't. Whenever I try to do that for auditions or for just to practice for voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how am I? This is weird. How am I doing? Like, this does not sound or feel right.
Okay, well, that's just where the experimentation comes in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you know where they're going to do a lot of screaming and a lot of damage? The Defenders.
Yes. Back on topic.
Yeah.
They're gonna fuck shit up.
Expertly.
Yep. We've seen clips in the trailers where, Daredevil is fighting Elektra, where Luke Cage is fighting Elektra, where the Defenders are fighting each other when they first meet. Because if you have characters... We mentioned this in our crossover episode way back months ago when CW did their 4-parter.
Yeah.
In any crossover, it's pretty much mandatory to have the heroes at some point fight each other.
Yeah.
And I love that scene in the trailer where Iron Fist punches Luke Cage in the face because... It goes right back to... It was the very first episode, wasn't it? Of Luke Cage? Where the goon punches him?
Yeah.
And breaks his hand?
Yeah, breaks his arm.
And then they recreate that with Danny punching him and actually affecting him because he has the Iron Fist.
Yeah, right. I'm the immortal Iron Fist. The what?
That's just great.
Wow.
I can't wait to see how that plays out. And
yeah.
I don't even need to see any of the others fight each other. Except... Maybe it looks like there might be some training scenes where they're learning how to fight together, which would be fine. But like, if that was the only actual fight between characters, that's all you fucking need.
Yeah, I think any gamer could figure out how they would work best together. Like, Luke Cage is a tank, powerhouse, and takes can take a hit. And the rest are DPS, because there are no healers.
Well, I mean, like, if I was...
The backup brawler would be Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And Iron Fist and Daredevil would be DPS.
Yeah. I can just see, like... Well, take the scene in the hallway is a good example, where they're moving around each other pretty well.
Yeah.
If this was, like... if this was, like, a game, or if this was, like, if I was on this team, how I would do it, like, if we had to go fight an enemy army... You put Luke Cage on point because he's literally invulnerable. You have
barring any Chitauri weaponry bullshit.
Yep. You have Daredevil and Iron Fist, picking off any stragglers who go around him, and you have Jones taking up the rear because she's almost as strong as Luke Cage anyway, so she could do the cleanup.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Huh. Yeah. That's solid analysis right there.
I mean, that's just let's say you got. Oh man, I would love to see a scene where they have to take out like a warehouse full of goons, and it literally opens with all the goons looking at the door, waiting for them to burst in, and then Cage fucking plows through the wall.
Oh damn! Yeah.
Or they do another trick like Danny punching a door.
Yeah, that'd be pretty.
That was pretty badass. That was actually because I was kind of iffy on Iron Fist until Danny punched the door across the street.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay.
All right, let's see where this goes.
You got my attention.
Yep.
I actually even rewound it and watched it again, so I was like, I need to see that again. All right, that's the money shot right there.
Yeah. I mean, it was a pretty sweet move.
Yep.
The execution was a little rusty, but you know what? He had been pumped full of drugs at that point, so he's just like getting over that. I'm like, I get it. I understand.
Here's a question.
I sympathize.
Who do you think the focus might be on them? Like, if the focus is on any one of the Defenders or their storylines, who do you think it's going to be?
Daredevil.
Really?
Yeah. He's got the most connection. I mean, like he's got the most personally at stake, I think.
Okay.
Because Luke Cage, he's with Claire Temple now.
Yep.
Just kind of hanging out, doing his thing in Harlem. He doesn't really want to.
He wants to help.
He wants to help people. You know.
He even says that in the trailer. He just wants to help people.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like he's perfectly capable of doing things himself without too much backlash. And even if there is backlash, it's not like he can't handle it.
He's Luke fucking Cage.
Yeah, and then, Iron Fist, I mean, he's just going to be like, he's going to get all butthurt about, the way is shut, but I still got this hot piece of ass Colleen Wing, so why the fuck not? Why the fuck? And I got billions of dollars, so why the fuck am I pouty about it? Jessica Jones, she's just going to keep doing her thing. She's going to keep, solving crimes and getting drunk.
And fucking up bitches.
Fucking bitches up, yeah, that's all you do. She's already got her life in order, like...
order being a relative term.
Well, still, like, her order being a relative term, her routine is established.
Yeah.
Get drunk, fuck everything else. Do job, maybe.
They end the second trailer on a very good encapsulation of what you just said.
Yeah,
for her.
And I think Daredevil, he just lost his firm. He just lost his partner, he just lost his employee. Yeah.
Are they still together romantically? I forget.
No.
Okay.
No. But
so he lost unexplained.
It's not unexplained.
Right.
No, it's definitely it's shown, but Foggy I don't like because he's just all butthurt about everything. He's just like, man, Foggy Nelson, things don't go my way. And Matt's much more handsome and intelligent than me.
I don't think that Matt and Karen should have hooked up. I think it would have made more narrative sense for Karen to, if she was going to hook up with one of them, it would have been for her to hook up with Foggy, not with Matt.
And then he gets murdered.
You really just want to see Foggy die.
I want to see Foggy die. I don't like Foggy as a
Fair
character.
enough. I liked him more in season 1.
The actor's fine.
Yeah.
The actor's fine. He's doing his job. He's doing it well. I just personally do not like the character of Foggy because I find him to be whiny. I find him to be whiny.
His best scene was, I think a lot of people will agree with this, was in season 1 when he discovered that Matt was Daredevil. And basically the whole episode was them debating it. Because it was a mix. That was a very well played out scene. It was a great mix of two lawyers trying to get the other to change sides of the argument. And a very real betrayal of trust. So both actors did a fucking phenomenal job with that.
Yeah.
And Foggy, early season 2 of Daredevil was great. It was ridiculous how the writing just kept contriving ways for Matt to fuck up the law firm.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Well, it wasn't all his fault.
No. It was sometimes the Hand or Elektra actually actively got in the way.
Yeah, and he couldn't tell them about it because the less they knew,
the less liable
danger.
they were.
And the less danger they would be in.
Right.
So he had to kind of take it all on himself.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point. Like, based on what we've seen of the previews, with the fact that the Hand is going to be a big role in the fight, whether the villains or not, whether Sigourney Weaver's the villain or not. Madame Gao is in it, and she's only tied really to two of the characters, Iron Fist and Daredevil.
Right.
I would say that the focus is going to be either on Danny or on Matt. And I think you have a really good point that Matt has more personally at stake in this. But I think it's going to be a good balance that Danny has almost as much, though, because it means that Matt won't be the main character of the Defenders.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting in how they get Jessica Jones and Luke Cage invested, because they have, in both trailers, they have scenes and dialogue hinting that the ones we care about are at risk. Even looks like there's some scenes where they're capturing Colleen, possibly capturing Claire.
Yeah.
You capture Claire, Luke is definitely going to get involved.
Yeah.
That could be that.
Capture Colleen, that'll be immediate.
Well, that'll be the last thing you do.
Yeah.
Because Colleen will fuck you up.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that, you capture Claire, and that could easily set up something like, she's being held at some random warehouse, because it's always a warehouse, and that's when Luke Cage busts through the wall like a good tank.
Well, Luke Cage, and they're all tied to Claire Temple in one way or another, so I definitely think that's worthwhile to have her, and Rosario Dawson's been doing a great job at making herself relevant,
Claire
but
Temple,
not overly so.
Right, exactly. I just realized it. Of course, people have probably realized this already. Claire Temple is the Philip Coulson of the Netflix shows.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's not a bad thing.
She plays a supporting role in every show versus Phil in every movie.
Yeah.
And she is she's the glue. So like her getting captured towards could be the inciting incident that gets all of them really moving together as a team.
Not the shrimp and the pork.
Not the shrimp and the pork.
Is that pork? No, that's shrimp. That guy's got the pork. You're weird.
Matt loves to show off his super senses. I read a lot of fan fiction still, and it's very entertaining just how pretty much everybody who writes well for Marvel fan fiction, because if something reads like shit, I'm probably going to give up within the first few paragraphs. But there are some very talented authors out there, and pretty much across the board, people write Matt as loving to show off his senses. Yeah, particularly when certain characters in the room, like one fanfic author, she always writes it so that Matt is always trying to either like one up Clint because Clint's so precise with his sharpshooting, or if Thor's in the room, he really tries to show off.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kind of has to.
Yeah.
As far as the Avengers go, none of the Defenders are kind of the low men on the totem pole.
Well, they're not. Yeah, they're definitely not. A-listers.
No, they're street level crime fighters.
Yeah.
They're not planetary bullshit. That's for the Avengers to take.
I mean, one of them doesn't. Well, no, I guess technically they all have powers because Matt's super senses are a power.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're all C-list and below on terms of the power scale. Jones can fly and has super strength. Luke Cage is super strong and invulnerable. Iron Fist has
uses chi,
has A-lister martial arts skills and can use his chi, but purely physical heroes. It's the Batman effect.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, nothing against Batman, but look at the reason Batman is on the Justice League and Tony Stark is on the Avengers is not just because of their skills or their intellect, but because they augmented it with other shit.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
They find a way to augment it with other shit.
Right. And Iron Fist doesn't do that.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really have to.
He doesn't care to.
Yeah. Doesn't really make sense to.
I love in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon that Iron Fist and Luke Cage literally just chilled out on the streets of New York as the heroes for hire.
Yeah.
I really want them to use that line at some point. They in one of the trailers they use Super Friends, which is always amusing when that gets a shout out.
Yeah.
But I really hope someone references Heroes for Hire at some point.
Yeah.
That'd be a great little Easter egg, just like in Luke Cage when he was wearing the full classic costume at one point.
Oh shit. Yeah, true.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah. Look like a damn fool.
That reminds me. Every of these 4 characters' shows has had their original comic costume at some point.
Yeah, you're right.
Not necessarily worn, like in Iron Fist, it was just in the grainy footage.
Yeah, and in Jessica Jones,
it was
Trish holding it up for her. And
yeah.
It was like, yeah, you gotta go as Jewel.
Yeah. I can't believe that never clicked.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking sweet.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to have them
and
reference Heroes for Hire. That'd be great. That'd just crack me the fuck up.
Yeah. And then Daredevil's wearing his classic
suit.
Yeah.
And I love in the trailers that he's the one getting shit for it too.
Yeah.
Like Jones comments on
nice ears, they're horns.
Yeah.
There are horns.
Ears, of course, referencing the Batman cowl, where they are ears, yeah.
Right, yeah. Absolutely.
So, I mean, yeah, that's all I really got for speculation. The trailers have done a pretty good job. Well, and not even the trailers. The previous 5 seasons have done a really good job of setup.
Yeah.
We already know what's going to happen going in because we have these existing plot lines. The real question is what are we going to see resolved? A, what are we going to see resolved? B, what are we not going to? And B, saved for the next season for that character.
Right.
And C, what new shit is going to be left hanging for these characters to handle in their individual shows or in the next round of the Defenders. And also...
Well, there hasn't been announced anything about the next round of Defenders, if there is going to be.
Right. If there is, because of this change in Netflix and Marvel's deal.
Yeah.
But let's assume there will be, just for the sake of argument.
Sure.
And then the only other thing that makes you wonder is, how much overlap for the characters is there going to be after this.
Right.
Because Luke Cage was in a large part of Jessica Jones.
Yeah. I think he was the only real crossover.
Aside from
Jessica
Claire.
Jones. Aside from Claire, who's been in everyone.
Right, and Trish. Trish has been in...
Trish was a voice in
Luke Cage.
Yeah. She wasn't actually seen, but she was heard from.
Yeah, she's been in... But she's been crossed over. Carrie Ann Moss has been in...
Jessica Jones.
2 of them.
And Iron Fist, that's right.
I really liked her in Iron Fist, actually.
Yeah, no, she did a great job in Iron Fist, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, I think that's going to be what really is interesting. And, it's also probably why they're starting the Punisher season, so that they can have someone who doesn't give a fuck about having these other people show up or not.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going to happen for Daredevil Season 3 and Season 2 of Jones, Cage, and Iron Fist? Where, if these characters are going to work together and work together well...
Right.
They're either going to have to contrive a reason for why they can't work together, like how they had to extradite Luke so that he wouldn't be around in New York during Iron Fist.
Right.
Or so they're going to have to contrive some other reason for why characters won't be around.
Well, they extradited him because he had existing crimes that he had to pay for.
Right, but I mean, from a narrative perspective, they didn't want to muddy the waters with having other characters in New York during Iron Fist. That's my argument.
I mean, they were there. They were just not. They were just in their own.
New York's a big
spheres.
city.
Yeah,
yeah.
They were in their own little spheres.
Yeah,
they weren't just like Daredevil's in Hell's Kitchen. Luke Cage is in Harlem. I don't remember where Jessica Jones takes place.
I think she's in Hell's Kitchen as well, or at least near it.
Huh? I don't know. I don't know either.
And Iron Fist is in fucking the affluent region.
Yeah, it's like Manhattan. I guess.
And Chinatown.
Yeah, I don't know the geography. I can't.
No, I don't
speak to it.
I've only been to New York once, so I can't. I don't know the layout either. But that's my point though. Is okay, they have their spheres of influence, but if you're, say, Daredevil, and you need help with, you're trying to take down some people who literally are shooting at you, and a guy who's bulletproof. Why wouldn't you call him? It's the argument that people have been making for ages about how it's making less and less sense in the Marvel movies for why other Avengers aren't helping each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Now they had Civil War as a way to have lay some of those arguments to rest. A lot of these characters are hiding in Sokovia. They're not going to be helping out.
Right.
And then in Spider-Man: Homecoming, Iron Man was in a lot of it. He was in a good 20% of it.
He was a good chunk of the movie.
Yeah, and that makes sense, because if you have these characters available, especially with one with the resources of Tony Stark, literally autopiloting the suits to you,
mm-hmm.
why wouldn't you use them? That is a resource. Yeah, so
absolutely. You
have these characters in New York, in the various boroughs of New York. Well, they're not that far away from each other when one of them can fucking fly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Tom Holland's Spider-Man might be
making a cameo.
I would like it to happen.
I would love it to happen,
just because you've got these. Well, I don't know. He's got a totally different tone about him.
He does
than any of the Defenders.
That could be interesting though, because he hasn't really, as a character, this version of Spider-Man hasn't really dealt with anything like that yet.
No.
In the comics. And even in the Sam Raimi movies, he deals with that shit early. Do we even know 100% if he had his powers when Uncle Ben died in this version? I would assume he does.
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have to show us that backstory, just like how we don't have to see Bruce Wayne's parents die in every single new version of Batman.
Sure, yeah.
We know what happened to Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
So they can simply imply it. I'm assuming, until stated otherwise, I'm assuming it happened.
Yeah.
But he has as a hero, as a superhero, fighting Vulture was his first real stint into that beyond bike thieves and ATM thieves and shit.
Yeah. Well, now that's just kind of where he wants to stay as the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Right. And so this would be a really good way to open his eyes further and be like, even that is not foolproof.
Right.
Yeah, you're not going to always have a little old lady buying you churros.
True, yeah. I mean, I would love it if little old ladies bought me churros.
I would fucking love being Spider-Man. There are a few characters I would not love to step in the shoes of when it comes to the Marvel, any comic, really.
Right.
I think that's why we have them. They're fucking fantasy and escapisms. That'd be interesting, though, if he showed up, and, like, as an actual role, not just as, like, as an epilogue cameo swinging by or something. Yeah.
Now, I had a thought, because doesn't Iron Fist take up the Daredevil mantle at one point in the comics in some continuity?
To Google.
I'm pretty sure he does.
Keep talking, I'm typing.
Fairly certain. I'm just, I just go Iron Fist comics as opposed to... Does Iron Fist ever get good? Does Iron Fist ever become Iron Fist? Oh my god.
Oh my god. I love the auto prompt on Google.
Daredevil. Okay, so why did Danny pose as the Daredevil? Okay, so yeah, go to his Wikipedia page. Like, go to the Iron Fist Wikipedia. Iron Fist Comics Wikipedia. There we go.
He posed as Daredevil. It looks like,
Actually, click that link. Yeah, posing as Daredevil. Rand disguises himself as Daredevil to convince the media
and the public
that Matt Murdock is not the masked vigilante.
Oh, it was during Civil War. That explains,
the Superhuman Registration Act, joining Captain America while still pretending to be Daredevil. Rand is apprehended by pro-registration forces. He is later freed from the Negative Zone prison, joining Captain America's team to battle the Iron Man's forces. Oh, neat.
And Daredevil with a glowing iron fist. That'll shit your pants.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
I don't want to see that.
We got any other thoughts about what we're obviously both excited,
Excited to see it. Daredevil having the most personally at stake, Foggy dying. I've talked about everything I want to talk about.
I have yet, as I've said every single time we talk Marvel, I have yet to be disappointed by Marvel. Spider-Man: Homecoming was the least excited after a film that I ever remember being for Marvel, and I still walked out of there bouncing on my feet, because it was still a great movie.
The expectations are higher now.
Exactly.
And they keep rising to meet those expectations. So
the bar is set so high for Marvel that but they're still meeting it. I mean, what happened for me at Spider-Man: Homecoming happened for a lot of people with Ant-Man. A lot of people were kind of met for Ant-Man.
Yeah.
It's actually one of my favorites because I love the comedy and I love a heist movie.
Yeah, definitely.
But people, like one of my favorite professional critics, he pointed out, like, this is their first, air quotes, bomb. And it wasn't even a bomb because there's so much goodwill built up.
Yeah.
And that's what happened for me with Spider-Man. There's so much existing goodwill for me towards Marvel because it's been a fucking decade of doing this.
Yeah.
That, like, you guys could literally release a movie about shit and I would probably still give you a pass.
Yeah, I'd probably still go see it.
Yeah, so
sat through Iron Fist.
Defenders, right. Iron Fist I guess Iron Fist was the first flop for me because Spider-Man came after that.
That was the first flop for critics, too.
Yeah, but I'm still stoked about Defenders. And
yeah.
Again, one of the main reasons Iron Man was kind of meh for me was, unfortunately, Finn Jones did not impress me.
Iron Fist, yeah.
Yeah, he did not impress me as much as the other actors have.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw a lot in his performance that made me think he'll be great in Defenders.
Yeah. He's got potential.
Again, you mentioned during our podcast for that, he was on Game of Thrones as Loras Tyrell, and that's a big cast. So, and he's not a lead character in that. He's in the books, at least. He's not a lead character. So, that he didn't have to own the spotlight as much as he was required to in Iron Fist.
Right.
He doesn't have to do that in Defenders.
Sure.
Even if he does become the focus of the story as a character, he'll have 3 other strong personalities working with him. He'll have several other strong personalities working against him.
True.
Yeah. So
it makes sense.
Yeah, you don't fucking hire Sigourney Weaver for nothing.
I guess not.
Yeah, she's gonna dominate the scenes that she's in.
Oh, she'll be awesome to have.
It's just because that's fucking Sigourney Weaver. Yeah.
No, she's established herself as as a good actor. So
I love the story about the behind the scenes in Alien Resurrection, when she was a clone of herself.
I haven't seen any of those.
Oh, well, one of the later Aliens films, they cloned Ripley and combined her with the alien DNA, with xenomorph DNA.
Oh, okay.
Because reasons.
Okay, fine.
They were trying. Well, what happened was they were trying to get a queen, and every time they cloned her, they could get an alien out of it potentially. So they kept doing it until they got a queen.
Okay.
So there's a scene where all these mercenaries, led by Ron Perlman, are fucking around shooting hoops, and Sigourney Weaver walks in, and I forget the bulk of the scene, but it actually ends with her from half court tossing it over her shoulder and sinking it. And what the director wanted to do was just have her toss it up, and they would just have an extra drop it in from out of frame.
Yeah.
You know, toss the ball up out of frame, have someone drop it in. And she's like, no. 2 tries.
Oh, cool.
She missed the first try, she sunk it on the second one and walked away, and in the film, the expression on Ron Perlman's face of holy shit was his actual expression. He broke character, he was so impressed.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Fucking love Ron Perlman.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah.
That's all I got, dude.
That's all I got, too. We covered some of our other announcements, like you working with Fat Dog.
Yeah.
My upcoming trip. I'm going to be going to both Granite City Comic-Con in September and Rhode Island Comic-Con in November.
Yeah.
And I am super fucking excited for both, especially Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Dude, almost the entire cast of Next Generation is going to be there.
At Rhode Island?
At Rhode Island.
Oh, cool.
Literally the only people missing are Captain Perkirk and Wesley Crusher, and I really only care about one of those.
Captain Perkirk.
Captain Perkirk. Wait, did I say that?
Yeah, you did.
Oh my god, I'm so tired. Picard! Wow, shame on me. Captain Picard will not be there.
Yeah, and Wesley Crusher.
Wesley Crusher won't. But Jonathan Frakes, Marina Sirtis, Gates McFadden, what's Geordie's real name? LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, and Brent Spiner.
Oh, cool.
Seriously, the entire goddamn bridge crew, with the exception of the captain. The only other people who I would love to meet are, obviously, Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah.
Whoever, I can't remember the actresses' names, but Tasha Yar and Ro Laren. I would love to meet them, because they're actually, Tasha was only in season 1, and with some cameos later on. Actually, the actress suggested ways to bring her character back. She died in, the original Tasha Yar died in season 1. There was an episode where there was a time travel fuck up, and it changed history. She ended up going back in time, and the actress suggested, well, what if the version of her that went back in time and technically never existed until that moment had a half Romulan daughter? So then the actress came back to play her own character's daughter.
Oh, wow.
Just as a way to get her back. And she came back for the finale, which was
cool.
great, because the finale had like those 3 timelines. So it was,
right on.
It was awesome. And Ro Laren was just a really impressive actress.
Right on.
Yeah. I get to meet so many there's going to be so many Power Rangers at Rhode Island. There's going to be so many Marvel characters.
Johnny Young Bosch going to Rhode Island?
Yes.
Okay, very cool.
Yes. He's still on the list. RJ Cyler, who was in the new Power Rangers movie as the Blue Ranger, had to cancel, which is a bummer, because I was really excited to meet him. He was one of my favorite characters in the movie, because Billy was one of my favorites growing up on the original Mighty Morphin, and I really enjoyed how RJ Cyler handled the character and the changes that they made for the character, like making him somewhat autistic. I was really impressed with his performance, and I wanted to meet him. Norman Reedus is going to be there.
Cool.
Yep.
Carol Dixon.
Yep. A lot of Walking Dead characters are going to be there, but a lot of them are from the newer seasons that I just don't give a fuck about. I just want to meet Norman Reedus, because Norman Reedus is a cool dude, even though I still haven't seen Boondock Saints.
Yeah. You should probably get on that.
I should probably get on that.
Yeah. Stream it on Rick.tv.
Yeah.
Be like, holy shit, this is more violent. My tender sensibilities.
I have those?
Yeah, you do.
I do not.
You definitely
Liar!
That's bullshit. Yeah, I'm not.
That is... I wouldn't say I have tender sensibilities.
Don't kid yourself. Before this gets any more personal, we should probably turn off the...
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it there before I embarrass myself further, apparently. Yeah, I know what I said.
Yeah, said it, so I didn't have to.
So, what we're gonna do, Defenders hits next week,
Yeah.
And the following weekend is our next scheduled podcast. So this was the speculation video. That will be the reactions
Yeah,
video.
that'd be sweet.
That will be the reactions podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So, it'll be interesting to see how on the mark we were.
Yeah.
And just in general, how we take it. With the cast that they have and the foundation they laid, they would have to try really hard to fuck this up.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But until then, we'll sign out. I am SchwarzTKD.
And I'm LegendbyDesign.
And this has been the Slap Happy Chaps podcast, Slapcast. Check out below for all the links to the various social media that we would love to have you like, favorite, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Leave us your thoughts, leave us your comments, and on this video and anything you might like to hear us talk about.
Yeah, man. Peace.
Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night.